The numbers stare back at me from my laptop screen. 732, 14 tears. I blink hard, rub my eyes. The scent of butter and vanilla still clings to my uniform from my morning shift at Carolina Morning Bakery. My fingers hover over the refresh button, trembling. This can't be right. There should be $87,500 in this account. I click refresh again and again. The balance doesn't change. The kitchen clock ticks away behind me, echoing the countdown calendar on my fridge. 20 days until Junie's surgery. 20 days until my baby girl gets her chance at a normal life. My throat closes up as I fumble for my phone, punching in the bank's number. The automated system takes forever, each cheerful prompt like a needle under my skin. When a real person finally answers, her sympathetic tone makes my stomach drop. "I see multiple withdrawals over the past 2 weeks, Miss Mitchell," she says. "The account was accessed through normal channels. Was this not you?" The room spins. "No," I whisper. "No, it wasn't me, Brandon." My fingers shake as I pull up his contact and hit call. Straight to voicemail. I try again and again, blocked. My brother has blocked my number. 3 months ago, he showed up at my door with a suitcase and sad eyes fresh from his divorce. I welcomed him into our modest 2-bedroom home without hesitation. That's what family does. Uncle Brandon Junie had squealed, throwing her arms around his waist. Her smile could light up all of Asheville. "Maybe you can come to my surgery." He'd asked so many questions about her condition, about the procedure, showing such interest, such concern. Now my mind replays every conversation, searching for signs I missed. The calendar mocks me from the fridge, covered in Junie's stickers. Little hearts and stars marking off the days until her spine would finally be straight. 3 years of pre-dawn shifts at the bakery, of saving every tip, every extra penny. 3 years of saying no to new shoes, to movies, to anything that wasn't absolutely necessary. After the surgery, I promised Junie whenever she asked for something I couldn't afford, we'll have a little more wiggle room. My legs carry me to Brandon's room on autopilot. The door cracks open to reveal bare walls, empty drawers pulled out. Even the sheets are gone from the bed as a piece of paper lies on the bare mattress. Needed a vacation. "Thanks for everything, Mom." June's voice floats from the living room. "When is Uncle Brandon coming back?" The acid rises in my throat. I steady myself against the door frame, willing my voice to stay normal. "I'm not sure, sweetheart." His laptop. He'd been using it at the kitchen table yesterday. I find it still plugged in. The screen dark. When I wake it up, his browser history appears. Flight bookings to Las Vegas. Hotel reservations at the Bellagio. My knees give out and I sink into the kitchen chair. The same chair where I've sat countless mornings calculating budgets. Where I watch the specialist explain how this surgery would free Junie from her daily pain. Where Brandon sat beside me last night, patting my shoulder as I talked about finally making the final payment. The laptop screen blurs through my tears. My brother? My own brother. The kitchen clock keeps ticking, counting down to a surgery that can't happen. Counting the seconds until I have to tell my daughter that the future we've worked so hard for has been stolen by family. The calendar catches my eye again. June's latest drawing decorates the corner, a stick figure running across green grass, arms spread wide. She'd written underneath in her careful 3rd-grade handwriting, "Me after I'm all better." Something hot and fierce rises in my chest, burning away the tears. I reach for my phone again, but this time I'm not calling Brandon. I'm calling the police. After I went to the police and the lawyer and started procedures the same day I came back home, broken inside. "The procedure will take some time," they said. I prepared dinner for the 2 of us, tucked my daughter to bed, and just lay on the bed wide awake. My phone glows in the darkness, casting shadows across my bedroom ceiling at 2 a.m. Sleep won't come. Not after what Brandon did. My thumb hovers over his Instagram profile, heart thudding against my ribs. The first photo hits like a punch to the gut. Brandon lounging by a pool at the Bellagio. Designer sunglasses perched on his nose. 3 shopping bags from Gucci rest at his feet. His caption burns through my retinas. "Finally treating myself. Life's short." Comments flood the post. High school friends, college buddies, all congratulating him on living his best life. None of them know those shopping bags were bought with June's future. My hands shake so violently, the phone slips clattering to the hardwood floor. The sound echoes through the quiet house. I freeze, listening for June's breathing down the hall, steady and untroubled. At least one of us can sleep tonight. Sarah answers my text in seconds, even at this hour. My best friend since high school, she's been there through the divorce, through every specialist appointment with Junie. Her reply is instant. I'll message him right now. I curl up against my headboard, clutching a pillow to my chest, watching the dot dance as Sarah types. 5 minutes pass. 10. Then her screenshot appears. Brennan's response makes bile rise in my throat. Relax, Danielle. It's not like she's dying. She's young. She'll bounce back. I needed this trip. I'll pay you back eventually. Before I can breathe, another message from him pops up. The words blur through sudden tears. Maybe if you'd loosened up and enjoyed life a little, your husband wouldn't have left. The pillow drops from my numb fingers. 3 years of dawn shifts. 3 years of saying no to every small luxury. 3 years of watching Junie struggle to stand straight, to walk without pain. All of it stolen by someone who shared my childhood bedroom, who knew every sacrifice I made. My fingers tremble as I dial Mom and Dad's number. They'll help. They have to. The phone rings 4 times before Dad's sleep-rough voice answers. Do you know what time it is? Danielle Brandon stole June's surgery money. The words tumble out. He took everything, Dad. He's in Las Vegas spending it on. Now, hold on. Dad's tone shifts to the one he used when we were kids, when Brandon broke something valuable. Your brother's always been impulsive. He'll pay it back. Impulsive. He stole $87,000. Mom's voice joins the call. Maybe if you kept your money in a joint account with us like we suggested. That's not the point. My voice cracks. He stole from his own niece, from Junie. Well, talk to him, Dad says. But let's handle this within the family. No need to make it bigger than it needs to be. The line fills with my siblings' voices. When did this become a conference call? Their suggestions blur together. Just give him time. You know how Brandon gets. Don't rock the boat, Daniel. A knock at my front door startles me so badly I drop the phone, fierce by kisses Brandon. But through the peephole, I see Aunt Carol's familiar silhouette, a casserole dish in her hands. She takes one look at my face when I open the door and sets the dish on the entry table. Her arms wrap around me, smelling of fabric softener, and the rose perfume she's worn since I was little. Sarah called me. She whispers, "This isn't about family disagreement, honey. It's theft, plain and simple." We sit at my kitchen table, the casserole forgotten. Carol's fingers drum against her coffee mug as she tells me about her ex-husband's brother, how she spent years making excuses for his borrowing, how it nearly bankrupted them. First thing tomorrow, she says, pulling a notepad from her purse. We document everything. Screenshots, bank records, every penny he took, every post he makes. This stops now. A small sound from the hallway freezes us both. Junie stands in her penguin pajamas, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Mom, why are you crying? The lie sticks in my throat. Everything's fine, baby, just grown-up stuff. She shuffles closer, her spine curved visibly even through her pajama top. Is my surgery canceled? Carol's hand finds mine under the table, squeezing hard. There's just a little delay, sweetheart. The words taste like ashes. We'll get there. She goes back to sleep. Carol stayed for the night on the couch, but I could not sleep a wink. My phone buzzes in the morning, the hospital. My stomach drops as I listen to the administrator explain that without the deposit, they'll have to give June's surgical slot to another patient. The next available date, 4 months out. I'm still holding the phone when Brandon's latest Instagram post loads. A gleaming motorcycle fills the frame, his reflection visible in its polished chrome. The caption makes my vision blur with fury. New wheels. Sometimes you have to invest in yourself first. Carol's notepad scratches in the quiet kitchen. Her jaw sets as she documents another piece of evidence. Outside, the sun begins to rise over the mountains, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Junie will wake soon, asking for breakfast, getting ready for another day of pain that could have been prevented. My brother's words echo in my head. Sometimes you have to invest in yourself first, and I decided to do so, which is why I am preparing to strike back. Brandon's latest Instagram post lights up my phone screen at 2 a.m. another night. My thumb hovers over the image. Him, lounging by a rooftop pool, drink in hand, face sprawling behind him like a glittering promise. The caption reads, "Sometimes you got to bet big to win big. Vegas baby high roller." The comments scroll beneath, "Living your best life. Must have hit the jackpot. When did you get so fancy?" My jaw aches from clenching. Each cheerful response feels like another betrayal. I screenshot everything, adding it to the growing folder on my phone. Aunt Carol's voice echoes in my head. "Document everything." The sound of shuffling feet snaps me from my daze. Junie stands in the doorway, hair mussed from sleep. "Can't sleep either," I ask, blocking my phone screen. She shakes her head, rubbing her eyes. My back hurts. I pat the couch beside me, and she curls into my side. The familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo wraps around us both. We sit in silence, mother and daughter, while the night ticks away. Morning comes too soon. The Carolina Morning Bakery kitchen usually feels like sanctuary butter and vanilla warmth and purpose. Today, the scents turn my stomach. My hands shake as I measure flour, spilling white dust across the counter. "Third time you've done that." Eleanor's voice makes me jump. Our silver-haired manager stands in the doorway, arms crossed. "Break room now." I follow her, wiping flour from my apron. The break room fluorescents buzz overhead as Eleanor closes the door behind us. "Talk," she commands, pulling out a chair. The words spill out like overproof dew, Brandon. "The money, Junie, surgery." Eleanor listens, her weathered hands folded on the table. When I finish, she pulls out her phone. "Michael," she says into the receiver, "your pro uno consultation tomorrow morning." My protest dies as she raises one finger. 9:00 a.m. Works, she'll be there. She ends the call and fixes me with a stern look. "My son's been practicing for 30 years. You're going to his office tomorrow. No arguments. At least some progress." Next morning, the law office sits above an old hardware store downtown. All brick and worn wooden stairs. Michael resembles his mother. Direct gaze, no-nonsense demeanor. He studies the bank statement spread across his desk. "This isn't a family dispute," he says finally. "This is grand theft. The amount makes it a felony." My stomach lurches. "Felony. You have two options, civil lawsuit or criminal charges. I recommend both." He taps the papers. He took money specifically saved for a child's medical care. No judge will look kindly on that. A knock at the bakery door the next morning freezes my blood. My parents stand outside, faces grim. Dad's eyes bore into mine as they enter. "Drop this nonsense," he hisses, "or you're no longer our daughter." Mom wrings her hands. "Please, Danielle. Family matters. Stay in the family." The morning regulars pretend not to watch. Mrs. Henderson pauses. Blueberry muffin halfway to her mouth. Mr. Chen's coffee cup hovers mid-sip. Junie is my family too. My voice comes out steady, surprising me. "She deserves justice." "Justice?" Dad spits the word. "He's your brother. He stole from his niece." The words ring through the quiet bakery. That's who he is now. They leave. The bell chimes their exit like a period at the end of a sentence. That night, Brandon posts a video. The club lights flash across his flushed face as he sways. "Drink slashing." "This round's on me," he slurs. Thanks to Junie's fine fund, he hiccups. I mean, Vegas fund. Someone off camera says, "Wait, what did you say?" The video cuts off. My phone buzzes immediately. "Michael, don't delete that video," he says without preamble. "This is exactly what we needed." The next morning, Eleanor places a mason jar by the register. A piece of cardboard reads "June's surgery fund" in her careful handwriting. Throughout the day, customers drop in bills, and Mrs. Henderson empties her coin purse. Mr. Chen adds a 50. I remove the countdown calendar that night, the empty space on the fridge a wound. Junie finds me staring at it, tears tracking silent paths down my cheeks. "How much longer do we have to wait?" she asks. "A little while, sweetheart." I pull her close, feeling the curve of her spine beneath my hands. "I'm so sorry." She looks up at me wise beyond her 9 years. It's okay, Mom. You always say the best things are worth waiting for. I hold her tighter, memorizing this moment. My daughter teaching me about grace. The next morning, Aunt Carol bursts into the bakery clutching her tablet. Look what I found. She thrust it at me. Brandon's applying for jobs back in Asheville, including the Community Credit Union. My hands still over the dough I'm kneading. What are you saying? I'm saying employers do background checks. Carol's eyes gleam, especially financial institutions. I don't know. The dough yields beneath my fingers. That feels like revenge. Carol's hand covers mine, stopping my movements. He didn't hesitate to ruin June's chances. Why should you protect his? I stare at the dough, seeing instead my daughter's curved spine, her hopeful drawings of running across green grass. The calendar's space empty now of its countdown and dreams. My fingers reach for the phone. Since last time I got disappointed this time, I will call a professional. The detective's coffee mug left a ring on my kitchen table after I came home that day. His pen scratches against his notepad while I recount every detail. The stolen surgery fund, Brandon's Vegas spending spree, his blocking my number. The sun stretches across the linoleum floor, and somewhere in the house, Junie hums after she comes back from school. And you're certain about pressing charges? Detective Morris glances up from his notes. Family cases can get messy. I think of Junie's x-rays on the surgeon's wall of 3 years of dawn shifts of saying no to every small joy she asked for. I'm certain the formal letters arrive at Brandon's Las Vegas hotel 3 days later. Michael Eleanor's lawyer son handles everything with quiet efficiency. My phone buzzes that evening. Brandon's number. You're really involving the cops over family. His voice cracks between outrage and fear. I was going to pay you back. I let his voicemail play on speaker, his words echoing in my empty kitchen. 3 weeks of silence, and now he wants to talk. The local news breaks the story of his return before I see him. Brandon strides into Asheville Community Credit Union in a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. His hair is styled differently, shorter, sharper. Designer labels peek from every angle. His shoes, his watch, his leather portfolio all purchased with my daughter's future. He tries visiting our parents first, playing the prodigal son. But Aunt Carol's been busy. She's shown them the screenshots, the bank records, the Vegas videos. The door stays closed. I watch from my car across the street. As Brandon enters the credit union that day after shift, his confidence fills the doorway, shoulders back, chin high. The same strut he had as a teenager, walking away from the messes I cleaned up. The hiring manager greets him with a handshake and professional smile. My fingers drum against the steering wheel. 40 minutes pass. Brandon bursts through the doors, his perfect hair disheveled, tie askew. His face burns red as he yanks at his collar. The hiring manager's words about additional background research must still ring in his ears. The next morning, the Asheville Citizen-Times runs a small article. Local mother fights for daughter's surgery after theft. They don't name names, but everyone who matters can read between the lines. The regulars at Carolina Morning Bakery start leaving cards propped against the tip jar. Some contain $5, others $20. One envelope holds a $100 bill, and a note for Junie Spine from a grandmother who understands. At O'Malley's bar on Wood Street, where Brandon spent countless evenings holding court over beers, the bartender spots him through the window. The close for private event sign appears before Brandon reaches the door. My phone rings during the evening rush at the bakery. Mom's voice trembles on the other end. I didn't want to believe it. She sniffs, and I picture her in her kitchen clutching her favorite handkerchief. The bank statements Michael showed us. How could he do this to Junie? Dad still won't speak to me directly, but he stopped defending Brandon at family dinners. My sister Rachel brings over a lasagna and an awkward apology. Cousin Tim offers his freelance web design services to set up a donation page. The surgeon's office feels colder this time. Dr. Martinez spreads June's latest x-rays across the light board. The curvature is Worry's stark white serpentine against the dark background. We can hold the new date with a partial payment. She taps her pen against her clipboard. And I've spoken with the hospital's financial department about a payment plan for the remainder. Eleanor reorganizes the bakery schedule without my asking. Take the catering events, she insists, pressing the calendar into my hands. They pay better, and Sarah can cover your earning shift. The regulars adapt to the new faces behind the counter. Their tips grow larger, most marked with Forgiuni in various handwriting. Each night, I empty my apron pockets into the new surgery fund jar. The total climbs slower than before, but it climbs. Michael calls on a Tuesday morning. Court date set for next month. His voice carries the same steady calm that makes him such a good lawyer, and the detective has some promising leads on the criminal case. I'm elbow deep in sourdough when the next call comes. Brandon's Las Vegas attorney voice, smooth as butter, suggesting a settlement. 1/3 of the stolen amount paid immediately. The dough splits under my fingers as I knead. 1-3 like bargaining over a stolen bike or a borrowed lawnmower. Like June's spine is a negotiable item. No, I tell Michael. Later we're going to court. Later at home that day, the sun sets behind the mountains, painting my kitchen in deep orange. June's homework spreads across the table, math worksheets and vocabulary lists. She looks up. Pencil paused mid-word. Mom, can I ask you something? I wipe flour from my hands. Always. Is Uncle Brandon a bad person now? The question hangs between us like smoke through the window. I watch our neighbors walking their dog, their voices carrying across the evening air. A car door slams. Someone's wind chimes tinkle in the breeze. No, sweetheart. I pull out the chair beside her. He made bad choices. There's a difference. She nods, processing this with the simple wisdom of childhood. Like when I chose to copy Denny's spelling test, something like that. My throat tightens, but bigger. And that's why he has to pay it back. Like how I had to stay in during recess. I brush a strand of hair from her forehead. Yes, everyone has to take responsibility for their choices. She returns to her homework apparently satisfied. I stand at the sink watching the last light fade from the sky, remembering Brandon at her age, how he broke my favorite jewelry box and blamed the cat, how Mom told me to let it go because he was younger, because he didn't mean it, because that's what family does. Not anymore. The kitchen clock ticks steadily onward. Somewhere in a Las Vegas hotel room, my brother probably paces. His expensive shoes wearing pads in the carpet, while his lawyer explains terms like felony theft and criminal charges. I pulled June's latest x-ray from its envelope, holding it up to the window. The curve of her spine catches the dying light. 3 years of savings gone in 2 weeks of Brandon's indulgence. But he forgot something crucial about his big sister. I've never been afraid of early mornings, of hard work, of starting over. And this time, I'm not alone. My phone buzzes with another text from Eleanor. 2 wedding cakes booked for next weekend. All yours if you want them. I text back a single word. Yes. A month later, my court shoes pinch with every step up the Buncombe County Courthouse stairs. Aunt Carol clutches my left arm while Eleanor grips my right, their presence steadying me like anchors in a storm. The morning sun beats down on my best dress, the one I bought 3 years ago for a wedding I never attended. Head high, Carol whispers, "You've done nothing wrong." A familiar Mercedes pulls up to the curb. Brandon steps out in what must be another $1,000 I'll never see. His new suit perfectly tailored. His attorney follows, briefcase in hand, both of them striding past without a glance in my direction. The pit in my stomach hardens into steel. The courtroom gleams with polished wood and morning light. I spot my parents slipping into the back row, their faces drawn. Mom clutches her purse like a shield. Dad stares straight ahead, jaw set. All rise. Judge Patricia Martinez peers over her reading glasses as Michael approaches the podium. His shoulders square beneath his charcoal suit, a Lelenor's son looking every inch the lawyer she raised him to be. Your Honor, this is a straightforward case of theft. Michael's voice fills the hushed chamber. Miss Mitchell spent 3 years saving for her daughter's spinal surgery. The defendant, her own brother, systematically drained that account over 2 weeks. The projector hums to life. Bank statements flash across the screen, each withdrawal like a fresh knife in my back. $5,000, $12,000, $15,000. Brandon's attorney shifts in his chair. And here, Your Honor. Michael clicks to the next slide. The defendant's own social media post documenting his spending spree. My hands curl into fists as the images appear. Brandon grinning beside a new motorcycle. Brandon at the Bellagio's high roller tables. Brandon toasting the camera with champagne. Designer shopping bags scattered at his feet. The final video plays. Brandon drunk and swaying in a Vegas nightclub. This one's for June's Spine Fund. I mean Vegas Fund. His laughter echoes through the courtroom speakers. Brandon's attorney springs up. Your Honor, my client acknowledges borrowing the money. This was a family loan. A loan? Judge Martinez's voice could freeze hellfire. Did Miss Mitchell consent to this loan? Well, Your Honor, in the context of family relationships. Yes or no, counselor? Brandon's perfect posture crumbles. A bead of sweat trails down his temple. No, Your Honor, his attorney admits. No, indeed. Judge Martinez removes her glasses. Mr. Mitchell stand up. Brandon rises on shaky legs. Gone is the swaggering man who strolled into court an hour ago. You stole from your sister. You stole from your niece. You took money meant for a child's surgery and spent it on gambling and shopping. Each word falls like a gavel. The court orders full repayment plus legal fees. Furthermore, all purchases made with stolen funds will be liquidated immediately. The courtroom exhales. Carol squeezes my hand so hard it hurts. Your Honor, Brandon starts. I'm not finished. Judge Martinez leans forward. That motorcycle will be sold. Those designer clothes will be sold. Every item you bought with your niece's surgery fund will be cataloged and auctioned. Perhaps that will teach you the difference between yours and not yours. Court adjourned. Camera flashes explode as we exit the courthouse. A reporter thrusts a microphone toward my face, but Michael steps between us. No comment at this time. Through the crowd, I glimpse Brandon trying to slip out a side door. More reporters converge, shouting questions. He shields his face with one manicured hand. That evening, my phone buzzes with a text from Mom. The local news showed Brandon's Vegas video. Dad's voice rumbles in the background. I've been blind for too long. My sisters arrive an hour later bearing lasagna and tearful apologies. The youngest Rachel clutches a check she can't afford to write. I try to refuse, but she insists, we should have supported you from the start. Brandon's email hits at midnight, copied to every relative with an inbox. She's destroyed my life. Hope you're all happy now that the family's torn apart. I block his number without reading the rest. Michael spreads paperwork across my kitchen table the next morning. The motorcycle should fetch a good price. Designer items too, though, at auction rates. Realistically, we're looking at recovering maybe 60%. The number hangs between us. Even with the court victory, we're still short for June's surgery. But watching Brandon's carefully constructed facade crumble in that courtroom, watching justice strip away his stolen glamour piece by piece, worth it. Thank you, I tell Michael, for everything. He gathers his papers, then pauses. You know, Mom told me what you said when this started about family being who shows up. Through the window, I spot Carol's car pulling into the driveway. She's brought dinner again. Eleanor's donation jar at the bakery is filling with customer contributions. My sisters check in daily now. Yeah, I say softly. They really do. Finally, 4 months later, the fluorescent lights of the hospital waiting room cast unfamiliar shadows across familiar faces. My fingers trace the worn edge of Junie's Get Well card, covered in signatures from Carolina Morning Bakery regulars. 4 hours into the surgery, and I still can't quite believe we made it here. Aunt Carol's knitting needles click softly beside me, a steady rhythm that anchors my racing thoughts. The bright yellow yarn flows through her fingers, becoming something warm and soft for June's recovery. She hasn't said much since we arrived at 5 this morning, but her presence speaks volumes. Coffee. Dad appears in front of me, 2 paper cups steaming in his weathered hands. The last time he brought me hospital coffee was the night Junie was born. Mom trails behind him with a brown paper bag that smells like the sandwich shop around the corner. Just the way you like it. Mom's voice wavers as she settles into the chair on my other side. 2 sugars, splash of cream. The coffee tastes like redemption. 3 weeks ago, they showed up at my door with a check for $5,000, their entire vacation fund. We should have done this sooner, Dad said, unable to meet my eyes. My phone buzzes. Another message from Eleanor. The morning rush. All asking about our girl. Mary Beth says her church group's still praying. A photo follows. The donation jar by the register stuffed with bills. They'd started it the day after the story broke. My coworkers and our loyal customers building a safety net $1 at a time. The final piece had fallen into place last night. A ding from my laptop at 11:47 p.m. The online donation page hitting its goal. Anonymous donations from all over Asheville, ranging from 5s to 500. Comments full of encouragement from strangers who'd read about us in the local paper, seen our story shared in community Facebook groups, heard about it through the grapevine of small-town connections. Mrs. Mitchell. My head snaps up. Dr. Rivera stands in the doorway, her surgical cap still on. My heart stutters until I see her smile. The procedure went perfectly. She pulls up a chair, sketching quick diagrams on her notepad. We achieved full correction of the curve. The rods are properly placed in her spine. She continues with technical details that blur together, but I catch the important parts. Success, recovery, future. When can I see her? The words scratch my dry throat. She's in recovery now. Give us 15 minutes to get her settled. 15 minutes later. The recovery room smells like antiseptic and hope. Junie looks small in the hospital bed, but her face is peaceful. Monitoring equipment beeps steadily as I take her hand careful of the IV line. Her eyelids flutter. Mom, I'm here, baby. Did I win? Her voice is barely a whisper against my curved spine. Tears spill down my cheeks. We both won, sweetheart. We both won. The envelope arrives 3 days into Junie's hospital stay. California postmark. Brandon's messy handwriting. Inside, a generic get well card and a $50 bill. No apology. Just a scrolled hope. You get better soon, kid. I drop the money in the Children's Hospital donation box on my way back to Junie's room. When she asks later if Uncle Brandon sent anything, I kiss her forehead and say he sends his love. Some truths are better left unspoken. 6 weeks pass in a blur of physical therapy appointments and small victories. Today, we're in the park where Junie used to watch other kids run and play. The air carries the scent of blooming dogwoods as I help her out of the car. Her movement still careful but getting stronger. Ready! I hold the back brace in my hands. We've been working toward this moment, following the doctor's instructions to the letter. Junie nods, lifting her arms. The straps fall away one by one. She straightens, testing the feeling of freedom. One step another. Her pace quickens. Mom! Her voice rings across the grass. Mom, watch! She breaks into a run, unsteady at first, then finding her rhythm. Arms spread wide, face tilted toward the sun. Her laughter bubbles up, pure joy breaking free. I'm running so fast. The bad stuff can't catch me. My parents watch from their bench, hands clasped together. Dad's eyes are wet. We enabled him his whole life, he says quietly when I join them. Made excuses, cleaned up his messes. Mom squeezes his hand. Sometimes love means setting boundaries. She watches Junie run. Sometimes it means being brave enough to say no. The words hang between us. A bridge slowly being rebuilt. Not with grand gestures or dramatic apologies, but with small moments of truth. With showing up, with staying. Junie races past again, her ponytail flying. Other children from other houses have joined her game of tag. None of them seeing anything but another kid who can run and play. My daughter finally free to just be a child. I used to believe blood to find family. That loyalty meant accepting whatever someone threw at you because you shared the same last name or DNA. Now I know better. Family is the coworker who squeezes your hand and says, "We'll figure this out." The customers who drop their change in a jar day after day. The aunt who shows up with knitting needles and quiet strength. The community that carries you when your world falls apart. Junie circles back, breathless and grinning. Come, run with me, Mom. So I do, because sometimes losing what you thought was family helps you find what family truly means. And sometimes the best revenge isn't punishment, it's joy.